we'd like to sincerely thank our Patreon supporters.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is a beautiful spring morning, and everyone is out sunning themselves. You can see Lily's out there, Forrest is out there, Ivy is with Forrest. She's behind that tree right there. They have finished mating. Got to get a lay box in there for her. Pinky is as big as a house. She should start digging soon to lay some unfertilized eggs, huh, Pinks? Sapphire is sunning herself. Ooh, she's gonna get grumpy seeing me. Jane is either cycling or maybe she's gravid. Yeah, Bubba is, well, he's running towards us because he hears me talking. Yes, it's food day. Don't worry, Bubba. Look at that, no rib cage. How awesome is that on Bubba? So today's video, we're talking about spring and loving the air with all the animals. You guys remember Kagan Andrews? She's moving down to Florida, and she's bringing her chickens, rabbits, turkeys, and we need a place to put them immediately. So, and this is good because this is gonna jumpstart all the stuff that we're wanting to work on. My mom's super happy. She was checking on the quail. When Kagan gets here, we're going to line up the property and figure out the tortoise enclosures, the quail enclosures, finally, the chicken coop, the rabbit area. So we're gonna figure out our cages along that tree line for our food sources for our animals. And I mean, I wouldn't mind rabbits too every once in a while. So what we're gonna do to house these animals immediately, I mean, we have this already started. So we're gonna get our 4x4 cross beams in here. I think we're gonna go ahead in the middle and do an additional support because this area is not so much about looking in like the cages, so I don't care so much about interrupting that window as it is about what's inside, because this is an interactive area. So why have a 12-foot span without support? We're just gonna add a support inside of each one of those gaps. And we'll get all this stuff moved out of here. These buckets, this trash pail. Maybe we'll actually put a formal trash can out by the entrance. We'll get these lay box lids back on the lay boxes for the females. We do have plans for the new lay box, and we will do that video probably next for Ivy. We got to get them on the opposite enclosures. I need her to go in hers and get Forrest back in his. Maybe I'll try and do that with food today. We'll see what happens with that. But we're gonna get everything cleared out, and we're gonna start hanging those 6 posts and get the cross sections in here. And then we've got a lot of screen to hang. Oh, I forgot to mention, and door thresholds there and there, and then we have to build the doors. And she says maybe we don't need the roof if it's very temporary, but we're gonna work on and hang whatever roof we can in here, because I don't wanna set up, I know some of the chickens are bantams, and I don't want hawks just to come and grab them up. I don't want to set up a smorgasbord for a couple hawks. So we're gonna get started. Okay, we've already got 2 of them up. So it's already feeling like something. This is actually really exciting for me. And you know, I always try to show you guys how stuff can be figured out by yourself. So I have my little helper blocks just tacked in there with 3-inch screws, and I gotta watch this ant hill that's right here with fire ants. We can just grab the end of this 4x4. I'm doing it one-handed, setting it on that block, going to the other side, setting it in there. So now that is an uncut 4x4 by 12. So it had about 3/8 of an inch. I will split that difference right about there and then tack it in. These are 3-inch screws, and the screws that go into the other holes are 4-inch screws. toenail that in, and then the screen. And then remember, we're also center of that doing a 4x4 upright, and then up there it's creating a stronger screened in area. So now you see how I do it. I'm gonna go ahead and finish hanging these, well, last 5 of them or 4 of them. I can count 4 of them. All right, we've gotten through all the 4x4x12s, and now I've gone around and marked for the supports. There's gonna be a 21 3/4 inch. You can see where I wrote 3/4. 21 3/4 right there. And I haven't measured for the uppers. I'm gonna go and knock out all the bottoms and then measure all the uppers. But everything is marked out where they line up to that edge, and they're sitting on top of the X. That one's a little dark. You probably can't see that one, but I can. So I've got everything marked out. I'm gonna go get all the bottoms done, and then we'll do all the tops. And I think we'll be ready to hang screen. I don't know if we're gonna, well, I could measure out and do this threshold. We have the 4x6 sitting on the chop saw, so maybe I'll measure that one out and just set it in place. We are going to have to figure out what we're doing with the electrical for the time being. I don't think we have many more heated nights, so I don't know if we're gonna drop it from above or use this drop down for the attachment that will handle all the lay boxes, or if that's going to be the power in and we want it to go underground. If it goes underground, I don't know if it shouldn't go all the way out over there and have our power to there. I don't know. We have to think about that. Obviously, we're going to be digging in here to do a water feature, so I don't want any underground electrical that's going to be a problem for that. But I do know somewheres in all that, we're going to have pumps and electrical. So that's all a question mark. And I don't know if I want to like run all the underground wiring and stuff until we get to that step. So for right now, I'd rather do the heavy gauge extension cord to get power out here until we have a final decision, because I don't like doing stuff twice. All of this is doing stuff twice. Let me get those bottom supports done and we'll go from there. All right, it's 2 days later. We are ready to hang screen. I know I said I wanted to hang screen that day, but we forgot. We had to feed animals. We fed animals, did waters. I was gonna run out here first thing this morning and start, but it was raining, and then I had babies to deal with. So it's almost lunchtime, and we're gonna start measuring and cutting screen. And as my mom measures and cuts, I'm gonna try and keep up with hanging. I know to hang this sheet first, I need to take this strip off and get that done. And if you guys can see, look at Ivy. She is in full egg production. She's gaining weight. She's usually a little scrawny. So we still need to get Forrest lured into this enclosure and her into that one and get her lay box done. That's gonna definitely be an upcoming video. So we're gonna start hanging some screen. All right, so before lunch, we got all of the 2-foot lower screen done all the way around. Just like I said, my mom was cutting the panels, and as we're walking around, you see the 4-foot panels are already pre-cut. So now she has all those cut for me. And we ordered a new roll. You know, this wasn't entirely planned as part of our next step. So all this 4-foot material was for the dividers on the enclosures as we were plugging down the hallway. So we didn't technically have enough to do these 2 sides. So she's now measuring through our shorter panels to even see if we can do it in 2 halves, cutting it there, and then another half to see if we have enough material to do the sides. Otherwise, I may have to temporarily hang the galvanized roof screen, the 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch that I use on the roof. Hopefully we have enough, and she'll go ahead and keep cutting that, and I'm gonna start hanging all these if we can. Our goal is to get this all hung and then pour that threshold that we have formed up that we did the other day. So it's warm already, so I'm gonna keep plugging forward. All right, guys, now all of the screen is done. It's so funny. I would have taken the shot from further away, but my mom and I were saying from far away, you can't even see the screen on the structure. You see right through it. You can't almost see what we did. And I'll show you from the inside. Instead of doing the roof screen, I did have a scrap roll of 4-foot 2x4 fence. So we hung that on this panel. It'll be easier to remove the staples from this and remove this panel later once we get the 4-foot vinyl coated and replace that. So the next step is for us to pour this concrete threshold. And I don't know if I showed that before, the mushroom that we have that gives this footer, this threshold, a little more surface area and strength, because we're going to be stepping on it all the time, as well as those screws in there that are tying it to this. And if you guys remember, I do a 2x4 across the threshold that ties into the walls, and there's a 4x4 post that goes right there that ties it in and grabs up top. So like it becomes very strong. I don't have any issues with strength. It's going to end up similar to this other door entrance here, and all that has to be done in, what do we have, 5 more days before I leave? 5 more days to do these doors, thresholds, some of the roof, and there's still other projects and things I need to do in that time. As we speak, another albino clutch, get that sun in my face, another albino clutch is hatching right now. So we have to keep running inside and checking on them. So we're gonna get this threshold poured. We'll show it to you when it's done. And then I need to start measuring for these doors. The hallway door I can't do until the threshold's dry, but I can mock these up and maybe get working on these tonight. No rest for the weary. All right, we have the pepper. Dang it. The threshold is poured and done there. And you can see how the concrete comes out and has a larger footprint than the form itself. So that'll handle us walking on it a lot better. And I came over to this opening, found out I've got 46 3/4 on both sides. There's my middle line over there. And then I measured for this door, for the passive door, meaning if this is the active door, this is the side we're going to use every time we walk in the enclosure. We're going to use the active door. The passive door will have what looks like, you know, like a deadbolt going down here and then up there, and we'll only use that door when we need to bring something wide in there. So this, the passive door will actually have the 2x2 door stop on it that the other door strikes against, and the other door will actually latch against that door. So they need to be strong doors. I mean, not insanely, we're not storing, other than for this temporary purpose, the farm animals in here. Permanently, there will be no permanent animal in this enclosure, only when we're playing with them and letting them have playtime, basically, in the water and everything. So there won't be unsupervised animals in this area. So we'll get this door built and hung in its entirety, and then do this door to make sure that this door is the right exact, just the exact size. I don't want to mismeasure. I could measure and build both of them, but when I don't have any extra time, why take a chance? So I'm in the shop, I've got it laid out. I'll show you kind of where I'm at with that. All right, and we're in the shop. And so I have all of these guys mitered cut on a 45-degree angle. I'll drill a pilot hole like a 1/2 inch to the edge, and then about 1.5 inches from the edge, and I'll put a 3-inch screw and a 4-inch screw in there, and I'll do that on all the corners. So basically top and bottom of the door, you won't see any screws from the sides of the door. And then we will get a 2x4. We'll make sure it's square, measure it diagonally, and make sure the door is square. Then we'll do a 2x4 across the middle, and then we will figure out where it needs to be. So I'm gonna put 3 hinges because of the size of this door. Why not? Why put 2 and risk it, you know, warping and bowing a little bit? We'll keep it as square as possible. So I guess I gotta start drilling and screwing. I'll show you guys once I have all the supports and all that good stuff done. And then we'll put the screen on, the trim on, and then we get to go hang this thing. Okay, I have the first door hung, sitting on the floor. Again, I'm gonna put 3 of those strap hinges on here in the middle, top and bottom. That'll be the top of the door. I think we're just gonna hang it tonight and not remove the shims that are supporting the door, because we only have 2 of the hinges here. So I need to go to the store, get the other hinge I need for this one, as well as for the other door. And we're working on another video down the hallway. So I got a couple pieces of hardware to pick up before I can finish this. But let's go mock this thing up and see how it looks. All right, this is where we're finishing the day. We've got the 1 door hung. I don't know how this is gonna look with that sun. That sun is setting, and it's really strong. So I think what we're gonna do, well, I know we're gonna hang the other hinge set right here, because the size of this door needs 3 hinges on it for sure. And then on the back side, we will have a deadbolt. When we have that exactly lined up, a deadbolt going into there and a deadbolt going into there. It also has to have a 2x4 screwed to the side of it to create the stop for the other door that's closing right here. So once we have all that done and this door is done and square, then we can build the other door. But we will also, you guys think she's gravid? That looks like a big female, uncomfortable with eggs, right? Huh. Sapphire. And then we'll be able to work on this one tomorrow as well. So it's gonna be a day of doors. Good stuff. I'm exhausted from today. This was a lot of work. I still can't stand looking at that, but like we said, that's temporary. But everything else really looks good. And this has been an area that we've been just walking past this whole time. I cannot wait. Well, I can't wait to see all the animals in here that are coming next week. But after all their cages are built, I cannot wait to see this area done, looking like Slinky's cage with a big waterfall and stream, and let some of our lizards in here and play with them. It's gonna be stinking awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to Homie D's to get what the supplies for tomorrow, and we'll be back at it. All right, guys, it's the next morning. I woke up super early, went to the gym, and got started. But now I have the door stop for this door. I have the, I guess you want to call them deadbolts or whatever, holding this door in place, and the door stops that close that gap in that the door would have top and bottom. So it's pretty sealed. And then the other door is going to come just a 1/2 inch off of this door. So now we're going to measure for the second door and get it built. Oh yeah, and I got the 3rd hinge on it, which a door this size definitely needs. Like realistically, it probably should have some diagonals to stop it from sagging, but I think the screen also well stapled and clamped on is going to prevent the sagging as well. So if I have to take the trim off and add some diagonals to this door, I mean, if I can get away without adding the weight, I'll do that and leave it the way it is, and then it's more consistent with the smaller doors that I have here. So we'll see what happens. So now I need to get this other door built. I've also this morning taken the form off. Got a little cool last night, so the concrete didn't kick off as hard as it should have. So I haven't Tapcon this board on yet. So I did put the dirt back, and I put the 2x4 on it just in case my mom or somebody comes and walks on it. That'll take a little pressure off the concrete while it still cures a little better. The sun's doing good this morning, so it should get it to finish setting off. I have the lock set for that door there, and that other one for down the hallway is already ready. Everybody is out and sunning themselves, enjoying this nice morning. So I'm gonna measure up and start on this other door. All right, now we're riding in the golf cart back with that big old door in the back, because there's no way I'm carrying it that whole way. That door is heavy. All right, we're gonna get it hung now. All right, we've got the door hung. Both of them are looking good together. Got the 3 hinges on it, and set the handle to the same height as over there. The latch is there, so now we will not latch this door because we have no way of opening it. We still need to do the door stop, top and bottom. This 2x4 acts as the door stop from the passive door, and then we need to drill through with the little loop and what do you call it? It's actually outrigger line. It's like a black monofilament line. I'll show it to you when I put it on. But it has UV protection. It'll last. It's not that braided stainless that can start splintering over time and stick you in the hand. So let me get that done in case I get stuck on the other side of the door, and then we'll do the door stops. All right, here we go. That first door totally done. Moved our lock up here, and then I might have skipped a couple steps. Built this door. We got that 4x4 post tied in there. Now there's still a little more trim that needs to be done, but all of this 1x4 trim up top has to be taken down when we start doing the 2x4 roof trusses to hang the screen on the roof. So there was no point in finishing some of these little bits of trim. There's going to be extra from all this trim that we cut up. So, and I think when we do that, I know this one 4x4 is smiling really bad, and so what we'll do is we'll flip it over and give it a little crown, and then it can settle to hopefully flat. But that's it for doors, and the next step is doing the roof, and we're done. We're ready for chickens, turkeys, and rabbits, and that's gonna make a huge difference, especially for Prego ladies like Pinky, huh? You're as big as a house, Pinks. It's been a good day for sunning. I don't know what Sapphire's doing. Maybe she's cycling. She's been laying out an awful lot. Even Diamond has been out. But I'm freaking exhausted. Waking up at 6 a.m., going to the gym, and then doing this in the hot sun all day is a lot. I'm hurting all over. I think I still have to hang another door for another video we're doing, and then I have fiberglass work to do this afternoon. So I'm gonna try and get that stuff done, and then we'll pick up tomorrow doing the roof, finishing the play area. All right, guys, it's second to last day before I have to leave, and I guess the last day I worked out here, I started feeling like a little too exhausted. I think I mentioned that on the film. But then the next clutch of albinos are hatching out, and I was sitting around by them, and I'm like, man, I feel a little too tired. And then I realized I think something's trying to get me, maybe a little cold or something. And I woke up the next day still feeling it. So yesterday I just did trailer maintenance and laundry and kind of lighter duty things around the house, and I didn't work on this enclosure. So I still don't feel 100% today. I never actually got sick, but I can feel that my body's fighting it off. And since I need to leave town and load a trailer and all that stuff, I'm gonna listen to my body and just do what I can. I have the 2x4x12s and the x8s for the little cross bracing. I need 14 2x4s running across to hang the screen, and the smaller ones are, I'll show you, the 45-inch little cross braces that keep them straight so we can hang the screen on them. So I know when we get to this 4x4, we're gonna have to flip it over, and we're just gonna, oh, we also have to take apart this trim, the top trim, as we hang, and then rehang it after it's hung. To remember, I always like my trim over my screen as my insurance policy, so we're gonna have to take that down and then cut it to go in between, and start hanging all these 2x4s across here. If I only get the 2x4s hung, I think that will be somewhat of a deterrent to keep the hawks at bay. I think they're gonna see that and maybe be less likely, excuse me, to fly in here. But that doesn't mean that the first day or second day that the animals are in here that I can't finish the screen and just knock that out. It just means that I'm not gonna get it done before they're in here. I mean, maybe I could finish the very first day they're in here. And if I feel like I have the energy this afternoon, we'll work on it. But I can only do what I can do. So I'm gonna start marking all this out. I'll show you guys once I have everything marked, and then we'll start hanging these 2x4s. All right, guys, it's close to lunch, and I just took that one crooked 4x4. I don't know if you guys can see down the board how stinking crooked it is, but I mean, it's like a dang spaghetti noodle. There's nothing straight about it, left, right, up, or down. But I've got roof trusses done to right about here, and this is where that 4x4 post is, and you can see the gusset right there. So right after lunch, I'll get him replaced, and I'll keep measuring bay by bay. I'll have 3 more of them, and I've already, up to this point, have measured where my middle line is for the 2x4s that go across and tie everything together. I mean, this stuff is going to be still on all these, so you could see how much movement that 2x4 has, and I have to walk on that to staple it. It's a little scary. It's much stronger once I put the 1x2 strip on it. It makes them quite a bit more rigid, but these are some pretty big gaps without the 4x4s. I probably should have put a dang 4x4 in between every one of these and just made them a little more rigid, but it is what it is. We'll get it done. I'm gonna go eat some lunch. I feel pretty fatigued, so whatever that is still trying to get me. And then I'll be back at it after lunch. All right, guys. I've got them well, it's 45 inches in between, so a 4-foot wide piece of screen sits totally on top of this, and the next sheet is totally on top of that. So they're overlapping by 1.5 inches on every board. But I've got all of them done all the way down. I think it was 14 of them. And now I gotta start, well, I marked for some of the middle braces. I need to mark for the rest of the braces and get those in there, and that'll keep everything straight. It's nice to do when these boards are good and green. It's easier to manipulate them and get everything straight. But I gotta take a break. I gotta go feed all the animals and clean their waters, and then I'll get back to it. Yeah, so tired right now, but we're gonna get it done. All right, guys, end of the day. We're starting to lose sunlight. We just barely got it done. I mean, maybe if I was 100%, I would have got some of the screen panels, but now the ceiling grid is totally done. And I think because of all this material here, it still will be a deterrent for a hawk to want to come in here. But I mean, the first day I have the animals here, I could start hanging the screen panels and have it done within 2 days, or even in a day. Maybe I can get it done in a day. I think I've done a row in a day before. Depends on how good I feel or how hot it is. But I mean, it feels amazing to have that hallway sealed up, at least on the front, not from the back yet. But I think maybe if I race and do those doors and get to the end of the hallway and do that threshold, I could get the plumbing done in this hallway for these enclosures, which would really be nice, and then get the rock in there. Things are getting done. It's really feeling good. Now, these animals are going to be put temporarily in here, but this was an excuse to push for this. Once the animals have their enclosures done along that tree line, and we're going to do a video mapping it out and setting the posts and just kind of framing out where these enclosures are going to be, then this area we can start planting some of the trees and mapping out where the ground needs to be built up to build, you know, some elevation for the water to come out and flow into like maybe some sort of stream with rocks here, and maybe another little drop down with another small pool, and then to a small stream, maybe something very small. And then I think this area would be cool if this at our lowest point was a nice swimming area, even slightly large. It would be amazing to have a big swimming area for them, to really get them underwater. Like, how cool would it be to have like 2.5 foot deep, 3 foot deep of water? I think the volume of water would help it stay clean. We could use like a sand filtration system and make this really cool. And that way, if the stream is like really shallow with rocks right here, you could literally just walk across it and be on this side of it to walk in, you know. And if it was still shallow, really shallow right there, so you could, I want to be able to walk around. I don't want an animal to get into a place where I can't grab them or whatever. But we'll plan it. I'll watch some videos how other people do it, and I'll teach myself, and we'll do something cool. Everybody ate a really big meal, their biggest meal of the day, or I'm sorry, of the year. Biggest meal of the year. I mean, you could see Sapphire is all sprawled out. She's taking a nap, digesting a belly full of food. And I don't know if you guys could see how big Pinky is. She is a balloon. She's got some eggs in her. She is really, really big right now. Probably uncomfortable from all that food. But tomorrow I've got to do some trailer maintenance. Like I said before, we have the babies hatching out, so I've got to deal with that. And then I'm driving to Georgia to go get all these animals. All right, guys, until next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. See you soon.